Hey everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight on Live with Prima. I got a few cards to share with you, and I want to give you a couple of announcements first. So let me grab my phone and get a quick look at the announcements. I should have pulled this up before I got started, but I did not, so let me get those. And we have on Tuesday, Bona will be with us. Her project is already up on the blog. If you go to primatypepad.com, you can see the really pretty mini album, the desk mini album that she's making. It's really gorgeous, so y'all need to go check that out. Also, don't forget to follow us if you don't already on our social media. Pinterest is Prima Marketing. Our Instagram is Prima Marketing Inc., all one word. And Facebook, we are Prima Marketing Flowers, and also Live with Prima on Facebook as well. So don't forget to follow us and keep up with all of our goings and doings on all of those social media places. Best way to win prizes and keep in touch with us and know what's going on. So I want to go ahead and pan the camera down. Tonight we're going to get started on these cards. I'll put my mouse out of the way, and we will get started on the card, so y'all bear with me just a second while I turn you around. Okay, you can see I got the cards kind of already on my table here. You can see these are the three cards. Let this focus just a second. These are the three cards we're going to be making, and in Alabama we are pretty close to fall, and I know a lot of the United States is headed in that direction, so not sure about the other countries, but almost fall here, and fall is one of my favorites. So I love the colors, and that's sort of why we have this color palette here. Tonight we're going to work with some modeling paste and some of the watercolor pencils to do our coloring. So the first thing I want to do is assemble the cards, and each one of these is begun with an A2 size card. So I'm going to make the actual A2 card first, and then we will embellish and layer and all that fun stuff. So we're going to lay these to the side, and tonight we are going to be working with Timeless Memories 6x6 pad. Can y'all see that with the glare of the light? You see this is Timeless Memories 6x6 pad. It's got some really pretty patterns of paper in here, and you can see I've already used it, and I've actually torn out the pages that I want to use for the cards. And you're going to need 3 of each actual 6x6 paper from this book, so 3 pieces for each card because of the layering. So first we're going to use this. You can see the back side looks like that. If you want to get these actually out of your 6x6 pad, we'll be using this one. This is a really pretty goldeny yellow color with some really pretty teal, and then the back is kind of like this. That's kind of identifiable there. You'll need 3 of these, and then also this really pretty pattern. You can see this sort of diamond shaped teal, kind of a teal, maybe a blue slate color. Anyway, really pretty, kind of a purplish background, and then the back side of it looks like this. 3 sheets of this as well. So what we want is an A2 size card. An A2 size card measures 4 1/4 across and 5 1/2 down. Opened out, it's going to be 8 1/2 across and 5 1/2 down. So that's what we want to achieve, but we're going to have to cut 2 pieces of the 6x6 to achieve that size card, because we only have 6 inches here, not the 8 1/2 that we need. So I've sort of done a little cheat sheet here, and our first piece is going to look like this. It's going to be scored, and we want to cut it, we want to cut our length here, so we want to cut it 5 1/2 inches. So I'm just going to lay it across my board here. I'm going to cut the selvage off first because I really want to get this this pretty diamond shaped pattern there. So let's cut off our selvage. Then I'm going to turn it around and get my 5.5 inches. So I'm just going to measure over to 5.5 inches. Give it a little cut. And then I want to turn it back. So it was this way. I want to turn it back this way. Grab my scoreboard. Lay her down. And I want to score at 4. I actually want to turn it over because I want this to be the out. I want this to be the inside. So you want to score on the inside. So I want to score at 4 1/4. Just give it a really nice score, and then give it a fold. And I want to just kind of, and you can do this with a bone folder as well. My bone folder is in this room somewhere. Okay, so that's our first piece there. Move our scoreboard. We want one more sheet of the same paper with this diamond shaped pattern. Going to remove the selvage. I call it a selvage. I work with fabric a lot, so all of these tags here are selvages. We want to cut it first at 5.5 inches. And then we want to turn it and cut it at 4 1/4 inches. And you can see what we're going to do to get our A2 size card is we're just going to lay this right inside here, right up to our little crease area, so that we have our card, and glue it down. So I just want to add a little glue. You can use your tape runners or whatever you like. I'm addicted to fabri-tac, so I use fabri-tac for just about everything. So just kind of right up to your crease, glue that down. And that gives us a perfect A2 size card. So that's going to be our first card. Just like that. Let's move on to, and this third sheet of paper, with each one we're going to kind of just put to the side. We will use those as soon as we make our cards in just a minute. We're going to start off by cutting off our selvage. I feel like this is getting really bright over here when I'm cutting. Maybe because my little trimmer is so white. So we're going to cut off our selvage, and then we're going to cut our length at 5.5. And I'm not really that concerned about where I'm cutting these because the patterns are just so similar all the way across the paper that it really doesn't concern me. I want to use this side as my top, so I'm going to lay it face down and score it at 4 1/4. So just be sure that your length here is 5.5 inches. Be sure that you're scoring with your length going up and down. Just kind of check that before you score so you don't waste your paper. Okay, there's our score right there. Just going to kind of leave that there. Go ahead, I'm just going to kind of leave that there in the way. I need it for another score, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my selvage off. And then I want to cut it first at 5.5. That's our length. And then I want to turn it and cut it at 4 1/4. Okay, and then you'll see when you open your card out, this is the inside, so you want to glue it like so. Like I said, tape runners, whatever you want to use. Fabri-tac is my go-to glue, so that's what I use most of the time. Okay, we've got that card. That's an A2 size, perfect A2 size. I am going to give that a little bit of a trim. I seem to have left a little tag on that one, and if you do that, just give it a little trim on the edge there. I just had to trim a little bit of that excess away. So that is our perfect A2 size, 5.5 by 4 1/4 finished. Okay, we're going to cut our selvage off. first measurement is at 5.5. And be sure that we're going to use, this is going to be the inside, we're going to use that side. Be sure that you've got 5.5 inches down here, so you can see I'm measuring to be sure I've got 5.5 inches that I'm scoring on the right side. Score at 4.25. Give that a little bend, and then just crease that really well. Take our next sheet, remove our selvage, and you don't have to remove these selvages. I just sort of get into a pattern here of doing this, and I do the same thing over and over. Best way to kind of keep up. So cut it at 5.5 first, then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 4.25. I'm going to open my card up, add a little glue, and I should have got a new bottle of glue because this one is a little older and it's kind of thick. So we want to add our glue right there and then right into our crease. And you can see on the inside of your card, you cannot tell that you've even put those together. It's totally concealed. I don't like a little bit of this excess glue off of my whatever this little thing is called here. I want to remove it from my little creases so that I don't have a problem when I use this little baby again. Okay, so we are done with our folding. So we'll put this off to the side, out of our way. Okay, so what we have now are 3 A2 size cards. Give that a minute to kind of focus. We have our 3 A2 size cards, and what I want to do is cut a few pieces of paper to layer on top of these. So first, just grab the first one first. First one is going to be this pattern here. That is this card here. So we're going to need 2 layers, and this is also a layer of packaging from our flower package. So as soon as I get to those flowers, I will pull this packaging out. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and cut these papers here, and go ahead and give this a quick measure. This is going to be 3 inches by about 4 3/4 inches. So I can get 2 cuts from this 1 6-inch piece. So I'm just going to actually cut this in half, cut our selvage off, and then measure 3 inches over. Then I want to turn this and cut it at about 4 3/4. Same thing with the next one. I want to turn it and cut it at about 4 3/4. And these don't have to be exact. These are just layered pieces for the top of our card. We're also going to have that packaging back there. So we have these cut, and I'm just going to lay these to the side. Grab those back in just a minute to embellish those. So put that together. I figured this would be the quickest thing to do to get all these done. So the next thing I want to do is this card here, and that happens to be this one here. So this top area measures about 3 3/4 by 4 7. I'm sorry, hold on a second. That measures 4 3/4. Sorry. So we got 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So let's just give this a quick cut. First at 3 3/4, and then at 4 3/4. And then that's just going to be a piece just to layer right on top of this card. So for now, we're going to do some stitching on this one, but for now we're going to kind of lay it to the side while we cut the next one. Okay, and that's this pretty one here with the diamond shape. It has, let me grab it, it has a piece cut the same. It's 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So I want to cut it first at 3 3/4. I'm not going to worry about cutting the selvage off of this one for now. I'm just going to cut it away with my cut. Then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 4 3/4. So we have a piece about like that. And you can see these, I'm doing the same paper. It's going to be kind of tone on tone, but once we've added our details and our flowers and our masking and all the goodies on there, you're going to be able to tell a distinct difference between the actual layers. So we'll lay this to the side as well. And what I want to do is take the two first that I need to do the stenciling on, and that would be these two. We want to actually add some stenciling. Both of these have stenciling in the background. And what I did, just on the top layer of this one, it's got some stenciling. I used this stencil here. Robbie, I do not have the number written on here. This was on my list. If you will give them that number, this is the actual stencil we're going to be using, y'all. And just so everybody knows, Robbie's modding for me tonight. Sorry I didn't say that sooner, but thank you very much, Robbie, for helping me out tonight. So we're going to actually be stenciling using this stencil and just Prima's modeling paste. Modeling paste right here. This card here, we've got the actual modeling paste on this top piece here. So what I want to do is just grab the one piece modeling for the modeling paste to be added here and here. So I'll put the rest of these cards kind of back out of my way. I figured this would be the easiest way to do this. I want to grab my non-stick mat here so I don't have a problem with the paste. And I'm actually using a brand new mat tonight. This is an actual Ken Oliver best ever craft mat, and it does everything fabulously. The only thing I've had problems with is glitter sticking to it, but everything else is great. It heats up well, and even beads stick to it. So I'm loving this new mat. So let's grab our mask, grab our modeling paste. This is a quick thing just to give some texture. I'm not going to a lot of trouble with this. I just want to give it some texture. So just want to kind of lay it down. In fact, what we can do is we can do them both at the same time because they're small pieces. So just going to kind of push them together a little, maybe leave a little gap there, and our stencil will reach across both of them. See how fast we can do this? So just want to kind of give it a little bit of paste. Don't have to cover the whole thing. I just want some texture. All I'm looking for is a little texture. So just a little bit here and there is good. I want to wipe most of this off because I'm not going to have time to clean it. I don't want to have to scrub it. I want to be able to just run my baby wipe. I'm going to grab a baby wipe and clean this up really quick. You can see just a really quick wipe with my baby wipe, and our mess is all gone. You don't really want to leave this for long on the stencil. You can scrub it away, but I prefer to wipe it off while it's kind of wet, so that is not an issue. So that's what we're going to be doing with our stencil. We'll lay it out of our way. Kind of a little bit more, so get that off. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to our baby wipe here. Just kind of move these out of your way. They're still very wet. We got a few things left to do, so I'm just going to lay these to the side to dry. I'm not going to worry about my heat tool right now. It dries pretty fast, so I may not even need the heat tool. We'll see. I've got a few more things to do for the other cards to get ready. So you can see with this mat, it just wipes right away. Works for me. And I'll show you this mat on a different show where it catches the beads and the micro beads and the seed beads. It works really well. So just want to clean up our little spatula. Grab an extra one for my hands. Clean up my hands. Okay, let's move our mat out of the way so we can move on to our next step. Next, what I want to do is work with this card. And what I'm going to do first is actually take just a brown ink, just anything you have. I'm using a Prima chalk edger, and I just want to ink the edges. It gives a little bit of notice to the edge, so it adds to your dimension just a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of run that around the edge, and then I'm going to run it around the whole card. Just inking the edges all the way around. Kind of open your card out all the way around. See, I'm doing it really quick. I'm even going to do it on the fold, just because I want a little dimension there. You can use your pencils if you've got the actual watercolor pencils. You can actually kind of scribble on the edge a little bit and then wet that to blend that as well, but for now I'm going to do it kind of like that. I want to add stitching. You can see I've got in the background, I've got some embroidery floss stitching on this, and I want to do it here, and I'm going to grab my ruler and grab my piercer and grab my little stitching pad that I use. You can use cardboard if you don't have a little pad like this, or a stitching pad. You can also just use just a ruler for this, but I'm using this little Architect's little ruler deal here. If anybody would like, I can put like a pattern up on Facebook with the actual pattern of this. I just kind of eyeball it. I've done this so many times. This is one of my favorite little stitching things to do, and since I've got it kind of on the edge up here, it's giving me a straight line, and I'm just going to do really long stitches, you can see. So I'm just piercing holes just periodically. I want kind of longer ones and shorter ones kind of inside, so I'm just kind of piercing. I've got one here, this is a little bit smaller, this is a little bit longer, and I'm just kind of moving across the page, or across the little card face here, I should say, with that. You can draw a line with the pencil if you'd like. I've found on the cards I don't really like to draw the line because it sort of shifts while people are reading them and whatnot, so I like to just pierce and move on. So you can see, you can probably not see the holes exactly, or maybe you can. You see my holes. So what I'm going to do is take a long piece of embroidery floss. You can see the embroidery floss, this is just skein. I use all 6 strands, picked up at my hobby store. Even Walmart carries this floss, most Walmarts do. And start from the back, just thread it in. I don't knot these on the cards because I don't want any bulk, so I kind of just leave a little bit of an extra piece there, and I grab some Scotch tape, and just with a little piece of Scotch tape, I just tape it right down so that it doesn't pull through. So just go straight up your card here to the hole you made, straight up away from it. Then go into the one right next to it. Pull it all the way through. The floss just adds that little extra bit of detail and that little extra bit of dimension and texture, and I just love the idea of having the thread, something like, you know, a fabric or something, just really adds that special detail and that homemade, cared for look to your project. So I just love the stitching and the idea of using it on my project, especially cards. Handmade cards are so pretty anyway, and people are so happy to get them, so they would love to see that you have hand stitched on their behalf. So I'm kind of pulling it across the room. You have to be careful so that it doesn't knot up. You can always use a little beeswax on your thread. That would help it not to knot. I did not do that tonight. I probably should have. My computer's gone to sleep. Let me wake it up. So just keep pulling it through. This is a really fast process on a card. That's why I didn't do it ahead. I wanted you to see how quickly you could do this. And we're just pulling it in and out from the back. You can kind of see how the back ends up. Well, we got a little extra here. Let me see if I can pull that through. Let's see where our excess is. Okay, right about like that. And that's what you do if you get a little bit of excess. If you miss it and you get a little excess, just kind of tug on it and you can find it, and then just tape down your excess. Only you will know. It will totally be your secret. This is going to be totally hidden. I want to just cut it off, leaving just a little tail there. And grab another piece of tape. And the tape, you can use glue or whatever, but I think the tape is just the fastest. And I'm not worried about acid-free or anything, since this is a card. It's not going to be touching a photo. And you can see this little tool here is about $1.50 or something in an office supply store. Even some Walmarts carry those as well, if you like that tool. If not, you can just, you know, lay your straight ruler down. And what I like to do is just lay my ruler down like from the edge here and draw a line or poke my holes, and then use those as a guide to kind of measure over to make the rest of your holes. But that little tool does make it a lot easier. And like I said, I will add a little template to my blog for this actual little template for y'all, so that you'll have a template for this. Okay, so what I want to do next is go ahead and assemble this card. So we've got this. We've already got our edges inked. What I want to do is add a piece of cardboard between. Let me grab my cardboard. Just want to add a piece of cardboard. If you like the idea of pop dots, you are welcome to add pop dots. If you've watched me before, you know I just won't spend the money on the pop dots, but you are certainly welcome to do that. Just don't ever use the cardboard actually on one of your photos. Be sure to always put a piece of cardstock or pattern paper between the cardboard and a photo, because the cardboard is definitely not acid free, because it's stringy glue everywhere. Okay, so we're going to add that. Just kind of center it. Put our tape away. Put our floss away. Okay, I've dropped my ink. Let me grab my ink. Okay, so this is going to be the beginnings of our card here. So I'll just lay it to one side. You can kind of see. I'll lay it to one side. I want to get all of these ready to go, and then we will move on to the next step. But I want to have each one prepared. I think that's a little bit quicker. We're a little bit wet here still, so I'm going to grab my heat tool and give this a quick dry. And this was the one we used the modeling paste on. This is going to be this card here. We just got a few layers, and I'm going to have to go ahead and grab the flowers and pull that packaging out to kind of show you where our little brick pattern came from. So you can see these flowers here is where our brick pattern came from, just from the packaging. And this is number 581879. Oh, and let me tell you, the Timeless Memories paper pad that we used is number 847340. Forgot to tell you that. Okay, so we've got our, this dries really quick, so we've got that ready. Grab our ink and just ink up our edges just like we did before, just for a little contrast. And I'm being really quick with this. No fuss, no muss here, just quickly do it. In person, this is pretty visible. Online, you're not going to see that masking or stenciling a whole lot. But in person, it just, for someone feeling of this card and receiving this card, it's just a little special touch to have that texture on there. It just makes it feel really rich and like you've just taken lots of time when you really just took a couple of seconds to kind of add that. So just continue to add all the sides and even our fold. I want to add it to our fold here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is open our package of flowers, and I'm just going to take out the packaging. We're going to use these flowers too on a couple of the cards, but for now I just want the packaging. That's one of the best parts about Prima's packaging, is you can use the packaging and add it to your projects, which is really a cool detail. So what I'm going to do is cut this at 4 3/4 by 3 3/4. So just cutting this down to size, and you can see this is going to fit right here on our card, just right there. So I'm going to grab my ink. I even want to ink the edges on this. Like I said, if you don't have the ink, you can use the pencils. I know the pencils are on the supply list, so you could always use the pencils, but this is a really quick way to do this for the show. It sort of saves me a little bit of time on the show here. So what I'm going to do is not add cardboard on this one. Since I've got several layers, I'm just going to layer these one right on top of the other with no cardboard, because okay, and you know what? I'm not going to put glue on the back to start with. Let me just kind of wipe that off. We're not going to add glue to the back at first. We're going to layer our two pieces to the top first, because we're going to add some floss. So what I want to do is just add a little glue to the back of one of our smaller pieces here, the ones that we cut 3 inches. I just want to kind of offset this kind of on the card. Let's get you totally in camera. I just want to kind of offset that just a little bit. Add glue to the back of the next one. Now the one you want to go on top is the one you did your stenciling on. So it actually will go on the top, just kind of, we've already inked their edges. So just kind of, you can kind of see that I've just sort of tilted them, one kind of to the left, one kind of to the right. Just about like that. And what we're going to do is kind of curl up our edges. I don't want to curl them a lot right now, but so that you're sure that you did not glue them down, I want you to kind of turn them up just a little bit. You just want to put glue kind of right in the center of these, because we are going to just use our fingers to just roll these up. Roll these up. Okay, now what we're going to do, we've got those rolled just a little. We're going to grab our embroidery floss again. And you can see on this card, we've got embroidery floss going all the way up, and we've sort of gathered it right here in the center. The only thing I did to achieve that is pull off a little bit of this. Probably takes a yard, maybe a little more. But what I'm going to do to start with is take a piece of my tape, so that we have something kind of holding it down. I'm going to do it sort of to the left just a little bit here. Really doesn't matter, because you're going to kind of move this around. And I'm just going to start wrapping it around. And you see I'm kind of keeping it kind of an open weave here. I want to keep it kind of close together, because I want to do a lot of rounds here. You can move over to the left if you need to. Just keep that from knotting. Just, you want a good bit here, so just keep wrapping. And I should have used beeswax on this, because I'm kind of knotting it up. So what I'm going to do is just make that knot kind of go behind, but just continue to wrap all the way around. You can kind of smush this together if you feel like you've gotten it too wide, but you can overlap as well to kind of fill in your areas. You may, between the two cards, you may end up using your entire skein of floss, and that's okay. These are really inexpensive, like I think they're 30 cents at Walmart, not expensive at all, so I don't really mind I don't really mind using the whole thing for a couple of cards. So cut this off. And I've just used kind of a dark brown color. And what I'm going to do is just kind of spread this out kind of evenly. And then I'm going to grab an extra piece of the floss. You just need a little piece about like this. I want to thread it under. Thread that baby under there. And just about a third of the way down, you don't have to be exact, but about a third of the way down, I want to just tie a knot to kind of pull that together. Hold my finger there and make sure we have a nice tight knot. Just about like that. You can kind of spread that out a little bit more if you like, and then we're going to just kind of continue to roll our paper kind of up toward the center. Just roll it up. Okay, about like that. So cut off a little bit of the excess. Don't cut too close, but because we're going to cover this with a flower. But just about like that. So now we can actually add that to our card. So now we're going to add the glue. You can tell my glue is a little bit older because it's just oozing everywhere. Add our glue and just kind of center. Just kind of center it. Be sure it's opening properly. Just kind of center it right about there. Okay, so we got that done. And you can always kind of slide these around just however you like them. But that's it. So what I want to do now is start preparing our flowers. You can see now what we have are these two cards done. Well, we're not going to prepare our flowers just yet. We have one more card. So we need to give this, it's just about dry, but just in case I want to give it a little bit more dry time. So let's dry this up really well. And this is going to be this card here. So the heat's going to kind of warp it a little bit, kind of cause it to kind of roll up, and that's fine because we are really going to roll these edges. We're going to pop it up and really roll the edges, so that is okay. We're going to add a little more color to this one as well, but the first thing I want to do is ink the edges. Let's ink the edges really good. Like I said, please bear with me. We've got some coloring. This class may run just a little over tonight. I try not to do that, but this is just a little bit more detail than normal. And they're really fast for 3 cards. To do them in a little more than an hour, it's a really fast process when you think about it. So okay, those are our layers for this card, and you can see here it is. I want to add a piece of cardboard, so grab my cardboard. And this one I want to do kind of a thin piece because I'm going to roll this a lot, and I'm going to actually cut the corners off of these two sides here. I want to kind of cut the corners off of these, and just want to be sure I get the corners cut. I want to be sure I get this glued in the right place. Okay, right there. And y'all know I cannot see a word you're saying, so I hope you're having fun on the chat. Not sure who else is here. You know what? My chat has gone so far down I can't even see it anymore. So let me see. I see Jeannie. Hey, Jeannie. I think I said hello to Julianne already. Okay, so now we're going to just kind of glue this down, and again we're going to grab our corners, and we just want 2 corners here this time turned up. So I'm just going to kind of roll like from the back here, just kind of roll it up. Be sure that your modeling paste is showing, and just kind of roll. I want to do pretty large rolls for these. And once I add my flower cluster, I'll roll it a little more if I need to, and add a little more color or whatever. But you can see I just want to roll that up, and you just kind of do that with your fingers. Just don't really bend it, don't fold it, just sort of ease it up with your fingers, and it'll roll. It will roll right up. And I just want to continue to I want to really get a nice little curl on that one, you see, and I achieve that by just kind of continuing to manipulate it and push it down with my fingers. I'm just rolling. You could always take a pencil, something, you know, the size of a pencil, and roll it up on the actual pencil if you'd like. That would be helpful. So, well, let's just roll it up. Okay, so there we have our rolled shape. I'm watching my puppy across the room. He's moved his entire bed and his blanket, and now he's situating his blanket. So if you hear something bumping in the background, he even, I think, bumped the camera. That's what's going on. He's in the background trying to get himself ready for bed. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, we got all of our cards ready. So you can see we've done our stenciling on this one. We layered it up with cardboard, rolled the edges. We did 3 layers here, no cardboard, but we've done the floss. And then we have this one layered up on cardboard, and we've done the stitching. So we've got our 3 basic cards now. The fun begins with our embellishments. So first thing I want to do is kind of show you what we're going to use. These are the flowers that I took the packaging from. We're going to use these. We're going to use these beautiful flowers. These are some of my favorites. 581190 Allure flowers, and they're kind of like cardboard, but they go with everything. I love them. So we're going to use those. We're going to use some Butterfly Collection Brads, number 579326, and these brads surprisingly are fall colors. I was really shocked when I picked these to see that they were actually fall colors. So they're really pretty though. They're going to be really sparkly and really nice. Okay, and for our coloring, we're going to use mostly the spring and fall colored pencils. I did add a yellow color pencil. The number that I added is number, well, I'm going to have to figure out what number. I think I've actually rubbed the number off. I will figure out what the number of this pencil is and list it, because I did need a yellow color. So we're going to use these pencils, and I'm going to show you how to color our flowers and our gorgeous resin. I didn't pull that out. Let me show you our resin. I did play with this a little bit ahead, and I did do some of these. You can see this is the fall resin. It's got acorns, and this is like a little double acorn together with these really pretty leaves. I've already colored one in that really pretty fall orange. I've got one left. I'll show you how to color. I'm going to situate that so it'll be flat. This is number 892548. So you can see that's our resin. I'm going to start off by coloring our flowers, our white flowers, and our resin for our cards. So we'll lay these to the side. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and start with the resin. So you can see what I've done to get this orange color. I want to do this leaf here the same way. Grab your orange and just, I'm going to lower the camera just a little bit so you can see more of what I'm doing. Is that going to help maybe? These have some really cool veins if I could get it to, can you see the veins? And it's got already some dark shadowing in there on the white, but I'm just going to take my pencil and just literally color right on it. And I want to get a lot of this on here because I want a lot of pigment here so that the color is a bright color. So just scribble all on it, even on the sides. Just scribble right down the sides because you won't color all the way around. It's going to show all on your card, so just continue to scribble. Scribble away. And I have my pencil sharpener close by because I did break the lead a couple of times trying to get into these little crevices. And this, you can color these with lots of different things. The Prima chalk edgers are fabulous to color these with, kind of the same process that I'm using here, but I know the colored pencils are in stock and they're new and they're just so fabulous, and sometimes you just can't buy everything, and so if you happen to have one or the other, it's just nice to have different ways that you can use the products that you have on hand. So if you don't have the pencils, by all means grab your chalk edgers, grab the brand new oil pastels would also work fabulously with this. So what I'm going to use is, I'm going to actually use my my watercolor pen, but you could also use a paintbrush, and I am probably going to mix it up because the watercolor pen gets pretty saturated, and I'm going to want a couple of dry paintbrushes close by. So I am going to just lay a couple of dry brushes here to soak up some of the liquid. I'm going to lay a paper towel here as well because we want to be sure, and I feel like this is like going, okay, see if I can get you in the camera here. Okay, you see how I've just scribbled all over it? It's just literally scribbled all over. So I'm going to take my watercolor brush, and it's got some water. You just squeeze it to get the water out, and I'm just going to start kind of blending in, kind of in a little short strokes. Just, you don't want to wipe, down, you don't want to wipe your color off, you just kind of want to touch it. And if you're using a paintbrush, you just want to kind of tap, kind of in a tapping motion. That will get that on there. Just tap away. And you don't have to cover up all of the white. We're going to add a little bit of the brown ink, or we can add a little bit of the dark purple color. Fall leaves have so many different shades of brown and orange and yellow and purples and just teals. There's just so many pretty colors in fall. So you can see I'm just kind of turning this all around and coloring this. I'm going to grab my non-stick. Let me grab my non-stick little pad here because I'm going to add some water. Should have done this originally. We are finished with our cutter, so I'm going to lay it to the side, out of our way, and I am just going to put everything on our little non-stick pad here so that I can make a little puddle of water to dip into, and I'll show you how you can make little puddles with the pencils, and that helps as well. Got this color all over my hands. So again, just continue to kind of tap that color on. Okay, I'm going to grab my heat tool real quick, give it a quick dry. This is going to dry really quick. Just kind of soak that up with our paper towel. And then I just want to continue to kind of tap to keep that color kind of moving around. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you can just squeeze your brush a little bit. Just kind of squeeze your brush out. You got a little bit of color still kind of on your brush tips, and you can even grab it like right from the end of your pencil to make that color just a little bit more vibrant. Fill in those white spaces just a little bit more, and take as much time with coloring this as you want. I'm gonna move on pretty quick tonight for the sake of time, but you just continue to tap that color on until you are happy with the color that you've got. So what I want to do is just rinse. I'm going to use my spray bottle and rinse my brush off to remove that orange color, and I'm going to grab this deep purple color in the box here. This is number 97, and I'm going to grab just a little bit of this color from the end of the tip of the pencil, and while this is wet, I'm just going to tap some of that color in. It just kind of runs into the veins of the leaves. Let's see if you can see that. That purple just kind of gets right down into the veins, and it just gives it a lot more dimension. Can you kind of see? Don't know if it's going to focus so that you can see, but okay, there it is. You see, it's just right down in the veins, so it just looks so fall. Love it, love it, love it. So what we're going to do is dry that up. We're going to squeeze our brush out a little bit and tap it off to clean that purple color off. Okay, you can see I've done both leaves. This one was done the same way. So I've got this one a little bit darker, which I kind of like the variation in shades, so I'm not going to work with that anymore. If you wanted this one a little bit darker, you could just go back in with some more orange. You could just pull more orange off of your pencil and just continue to add until you get it the depth that you like it. Then you can go back with your purple. Just you could add a little green or a little yellow. You could just be creative with these. Try it one more time. Then we're going to move on with our acorns. I love the acorns. I've already done this one. You can see I did it originally. I think I did it an orange color, but I wanted a green one, so I wanted these cards just a little bit different. So I did this one green. I used the green pencil and made it just a little bit different. So let's lay our leaves off to the side, wipe up our mess. Okay, we got our two acorns here, and what we've got is in the spring and fall we have a couple of browns, and I'm going to use this deep purple as well for this. But the first thing I'm going to do is go in on my top here, the little brown texture top of the little acorn. Not sure what this is called, but you can see I'm just actually just running the color right over the top of it. Just scribble away. Get all around the edges. Gonna do this one the same way. I'm just gonna scribble away. Get all that nice chestnut color brown mixed in there. The brown was a little bit one of the, I guess it was one of the harder colors because I wanted it dark. So I used this color and then I mixed the purple in, and you could use a chalk edger. In fact, I may show you how easy it would be to use a chalk edger on these as well. You can use them the same way we're using the pencils with the paintbrush. You just need to kind of make a little puddle. So I'm going to kind of squeeze out my, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and use a paintbrush because you might be using a paintbrush. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a little puddle of water, and I've got my dry brush here, just a little squirt of water. So I'm going to just kind of dampen my brush just a little bit, and again tap, just in a tapping motion, You want to be sure to kind of keep it on the top here, away from this bottom portion. We're going to color that. I wish I knew the names and details of these little acorns, but I don't. And with my southern accent, I'm having a hard time saying acorn because it is a habit in the South. With, of course, I don't talk that southern. You can tell. But it's a habit to possibly say acorn instead of acorn. So we know it's acorn, but it's more comfortable to say acorn. So just tap away. And I'm going to do these at the same time just so we get them finished pretty quickly. I'm going to go ahead and heat set these. Just continue tapping, getting that color all on there. If you do happen to get some on the bottom portion, you can always go back with a little water and clean it right up. It will go right away. Just be sure to get it totally covered. Okay, and that's a little bit too light for my liking. You can see it's kind of a chestnut color, or I want it a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab this dark purple color. Grab this dark purple color. This is actually this is not the dark purple, is it? This is, well, this is number 119, but this is the color I want to use. I'm not sure what color it is. It's a dark. Just add a layer of that all across the top. Okay, then grab your paintbrush. I don't want it real wet, but I do want a little, so just grab it, and that's a little too wet. Grab it and just pounce away. It's going to kind of blend these colors. Just continue to kind of pounce. So can you kind of see? It's kind of blending that to a darker, and I know it's kind of a purpley color, but it's blending with that chestnut color. This is how you can kind of use the box of pencils that you have. It's kind of blending that to kind of a dark brown to give it kind of the top of an acorn look. Can you see? And it gives you dimension because you've put one on and dried one ahead of the other, and so you get that dimension. You can just pick up any color that you've left to fill in any white areas that you've left. So what I want to do is go in here where it's kind of white, and I want to go back over the pencil just a little bit. Also, what I'm going to do is just kind of grab some color from the end. This is the best way to get a more concentrated color, is just to pick it up right from the end and just pounce it right on there. Be sure not to get it too wet. If it's too wet, it kind of runs off. So just barely wet your brush, very damp brush. A little water goes a very long way when you're doing this. And if you do this and you hate it and it's not what you wanted, you can literally rinse it off and start over. So this will definitely react with water and rinse right away. Okay, so you can see this is making me happy, I think. That's kind of what I'm going for. See how it's kind of dimensional? Love it. Love it. Dimensional. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is do some color on these. And I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm just going to use my sprayer on top of my paper towel. Spray my brush. I'll show you kind of on camera. Just spray my brush. There you go. Let's wipe up our mess, so we don't mix these colors in with anything else. Y'all got to check out this. Y'all got to check out this mat here. I am loving this, or not mask, this mat. get that right, matte. Okay, so what we're going to need is kind of a blue. So we got this really pretty blue-green color, number 58. And it's going to be more green. So what I'm going to do is go in with this dark color again that's kind of bluish purple. I'm going to add it in. I'm going to blend these. Didn't do this on the first one, but I wanted to kind of play around with the color, and so you can kind of do the same. Get a little spray of water. You can kind of see I've just kind of scribbled that on there. Kind of looks like a mess. Just a dab of water, not a lot. And you're going to have to do a couple of layers of this, but just tap away. Tap away. Okay, can you kind of see the color coming? See the color kind of coming there. What I want to do is grab this number 52. It's a kind of a green teal color. Get a little from the actual. It's kind of an emerald color. It kind of mixes kind of emerald. So you can see we got this emerald color. Probably got that a little bit too wet, so I'm going to grab my heat tool and just give that a quick dry. Let that kind of run down. Just dry your brush off a little bit. And I just want to continue to kind of blend this. And I am like pulling straight down on this because I'm just trying to kind of pull the color kind of across. We're going to add some gold glitter too, so the glitter is going to make a huge difference. I want to grab just a little bit of this dark color. Just continue to blend and just tap away. Just a quick dry, and this dries really, really quick, so we can continue to layer up color. If you want it more blue, like I did it in my original, I'm going to add just in these little areas where I don't have a lot of color. It wants to kind of shift around. I'm going to just kind of pencil that in, and I'm going to tap with just a damp little brush here. Just tap away. Okay, you can kind of see the color we're getting there. Just pretty green fall, kind of blue-green fall color. Love it. Okay, the next one I want to do here is a yellow one. So let's grab our yellow pencil. And I want to, again, just, well, I knew I was going to need my sharpener. So, grab our sharpener. Let's sharpen this up. Okay. Let's just scribble across. We're not going to throw don't throw your little leads away when they fall out, because you can kind of squish those and still get your color. You know, dampen it, a little squirt of water, damp, get a little bit more color. We got to wash our brush out. Let's get that green off that brush. So we don't want another green one. We don't want another blue one. We want it to be yellow this time. So let's spread that yellow out. Just tap, tap, tap once you get it kind of spread out. And I'm going to use our little tip here that broke off to grab up some more color. I'll show you a really good thing you can do. Make you a little puddle, and you can actually make an actual little puddle. Just keep kind of tapping on your lead, and you can make yourself a little puddle of color from the actual pencil, and then you can go back in and just add it, tapping away. Lay that to the side. Okay, so you can see these are our acorns, and what I want to do is dry this yellow one, and then you see I have a little darker detail on that one. I want to, for dimension, I want to go back and give these two a little dimension as well. Okay, on this one, I think just because I want to add a little orange. I'm just kind of seeing that I want this kind of two-toned, and you can do this as well. I'm just sort of seeing this with my fall card, that I want a little orange on there maybe. So let's go back in and make this one a little two-tone. So you can see that you can actually add to your colors. I love that idea of that green kind of just showing through that orange. I just thought the green was a little too stark for my liking. So just a little orange, a little dry. Okay, got that all ready. Then what I want to do is grab one of my lighter brown colors here, or probably this number 90, and I want to make let's make sure our brush is clean. Just spray the end of the brush onto your paper towel, grab a little clear water, and get a little bit of color. We want it pretty dry, so tap it off on your paper towel, go in, and then if you hear my husband, he's like right outside my door. Sorry about that. Okay, right there. He's out there talking to our puppy. Okay, just add just a little bit. That orange added a little bit to this one, so I'm going to add a little bit more to this one too, just for a little dimension and a little more texture. I just wanted that little bit of kind of, I don't know if it's shading or what it would be considered, but we need it there. I'm going to wash out our brush and dry it on our paper towel really well. Kind of dry it off on my hand, and then I just want to kind of tap this to get I don't want it to be real evident. John, can you close my door? Don't want it to be real evident that it's there. Okay, just about like that is what we've got. And our leaves. So that's what we have. Those are our colors, and you can see we did all of those with the colored pencils. So on the tops of our little acorns here, I want to grab, and this is just one more detail because I just continue to add details and like details. I want to show you. I want to grab the brown ink and just kind of smash it on my non-stick surface for just a bit, and just to kind of show you how the chalk edgers work too. You can just kind of dip a little water in that and touch. Again, just tap, tap, tap. And this is kind of adding to it. This is really just to show you how the chalk edgers work, but this is adding to our brown as well, giving it a little bit darker shade of brown. But just pick up your color and just tap away. Okay. I told you I would show you that, and with any of these colors you can just smash your color on your non-stick surface and paint the color right on, just like we've painted on the pencils, just so you know you have some different choices of kind of using what you have. So it's kind of hard to to get everything, but if you have one or the other, you are set to color with them. So the next thing I want to do, that's our resin. I'm going to move on and color our flowers. We're going to need a few colored flowers for our projects. Let's lay our resin to the side here. And I want to grab our flowers. Let's see how many we're going to need. We're going to add flowers to this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 flowers to color. So let's just grab a few variations. What did I use? Let's see what I used. We have, let's do this one and this one and possibly this one here. Let's see, that's one more. Let's grab this one. Gives you such a variety in this pack. That's why I love Prima flowers. We get lots of varieties. Okay, so what we want to do is a couple of yellow ones. So what I'm going to do is grab our pencil, grab our yellow pencil, and you just want to scribble on the petals. Just scribble everywhere you see white. Just scribble, scribble, scribble. Well, see, I keep breaking this lead. I'm being a little rough on this pencil. I may not have sharpened it properly. Let me give it another quick sharpen. Okay. Just continue to scribble away. I won't be so heavy-handed here. Do not want to do that again. Okay. Now we're gonna again spray a little water. And you don't want this real wet. You don't want to just completely saturate the flower. You will end up feeling like you have saturated it before you're done. We still have a little bit of the brown ink on here, which is totally fine. Once we've dried, we're going to add a little shading anyway. So I need to grab another paper towel. I think this paper towel has expired. It's too wet. Okay, so just continue to just touch every petal with your dampened brush. And if you have the watercolor brush, by all means, you can use that. I'm using a paintbrush. Okay, so that one is yellow. We're going to do one right here that I want to do it yellow as well, but I want to add a little green, so we'll do yellow on most of the flower. Okay, let's just touch it up. I like having a little bit of the white showing through. Doesn't bother me to have some of the white. So just quickly do these. I want to add a little green, so I'm just going to kind of grab a little green from my tip here just to kind of blend in, so you can kind of see we're not getting a lot of color. That's got a lot of white showing. This one's pretty covered in the yellow, you can see, so you can just add more or less of the actual color. So let's bring you down just a little bit closer, so you can kind of see, and just kind of move your petals to the side. And again, if you have chalk edgers, you can do the same thing. Just kind of smash your chalk edger, add a little water here and there. Okay, I want to add an orange, so let's grab this one. Let's grab this one here, and this one we'll do a little orange. And I want these a little bit deeper colors, so I'm going to actually grab the color right from the end of the pencil and just paint away. See, I'm just getting water, and it saturates it a little bit more to do it like this, but it's a little bit bolder color. I wanted the yellow a little more subtle than the orange. So just continue to saturate it. Okay, and then you just kind of move it out with your water. Just continue to add your color, just like so. Again, I want to go in with a little bit of green, just so these have a little bit of contrast. Okay, just like so. Just very quickly do that. I want to do this one orange as well, and I'm going to make myself a little puddle of color here. Add a little more water. Just make a little puddle and just go in and add it to this flower. See how bold the color is? And you can kind of spray the end of the pencil as well. That helps kind of pull that off. See, we've got lots of the orange. So just kind of go in to all your layers. Get that orange in there. Oh, I'm out of camera. Sorry about that. Thank you, Robbie. Get carried away here. I guess when I pulled the camera down, I changed the position where I was working. So you can see that one's kind of a little light color. Now this one I want to add a little bit of the green. Wipe up some of our orange. I want to just kind of spray this green. This is kind of a blue-green color here, so just kind of, I want it really kind of a subtle, so I'm adding quite a bit of water to dilute the color because this is a pretty bright color, but I want to kind of dilute it. You can kind of see, it's like a little watercolor little lake here. But this is all I'm doing to this one, and it's just pretty subtle. You can see some of my white still showing through. I want to grab some green. Let's grab a little bit of this green. Make a little puddle. And just to a couple of the petals, I wanted to add some of the green. So you can kind of see, just kind of messy. No big deal. Okay, and then this one. Okay, I don't think we need this one. So we got our flowers. We just needed 5, not 6. So we got these 5 flowers ready to go. Let's give them a quick dry. So we can glue them down, and all that we have left is assembly and just a few more little colors here and there. So the next thing I want to show you that I am going to use on the cards are one of the Prima dies, and I'm using 2 little flower pieces here from the die that I've cut using this one here, the 5-petal flower. This is number 572822, and don't forget that Prima is remaking all of their dies plus some brand new ones, so be looking for that around December for those to come out. They are in the process of being made now, and that makes me really happy because I adore Prima's dies. So we're going to use these 2 on this card. We're going to kind of put our nonstick surface away, and I'll tell y'all more about that nonstick pad on future shows too. I know I will be using it a lot. Okay, so what we're going to do is go in and do this card here. Grab our card. Where did I put it? I'm moving you. Grab this card here, and we're just going to start layering this up. And I'll just tell you, this is a really easy layering process. Get you totally in camera. I'm going to pick you back up a little bit. totally in view. Everybody see me? Okay, everybody kind of see me. Move everything off to the side, out of our way. Okay, what we're going to do is start with our doilies. Just going to kind of glue them diagonally across from one another. Just about like this. Kind of easy peasy there. Next thing I want to do is grab our little acorns. And let me grab them if I can get a hold to them. Grab our acorns here. And kind of want to overlap them just a little. So I'm going to add a little glue to this one here. And overlap these just a little bit. Like so. Right here in this area. Before I finish that, I want to go in with some flowers kind of under and around that. So the first thing I want to add is our little flower. And this flower, you can add a little bit more green. This particular one that's going under here first, you could add a little more green to it. I kind of like the yellow. Make sure you add a little, once you've added that flower there, add a little glue to your acorn there. Kind of glue those about like so, just right on top of your little dies. Take this flower here, and we want to kind of tuck it in so that it's kind of poking up a little bit there. Tuck it there. Then we want to add a couple of white ones as well. Let's just pour them all out and just decide as we're moving along here. Grab an orange one. We'll move the color around too. Be sure you kind of balanced your color out kind of all the way across. Lift these up and kind of tuck that in under there. Kind of see how I did that? Just tuck that under there like so. And then we're going to grab this other orange one, and to show off our layers really well, we're going to lift up our little die and add that one right up under our die, and that makes that little die piece show up. A little crochet, little what is that? A little doily shape, because it's got such pretty detail. It adds right about there. Then we want to add a little bit of glue to this yellow one here. Lift this flower up, but kind of over the top of that one, kind of over the top of the doily. So you can kind of see your layers there, how they're going in. And you're just kind of in and out on top of, kind of tucking in and under and around. Want to use these little brown centers to bring out the brown in the stitching. And my glue, I should have grabbed a new bottle of glue. I want to kind of tuck this one under here pretty good. And that helps to give us a little lift as well. The fabri-tac works well because it takes a few minutes to dry, and so you have a little bit of time. I want to get this smaller one here with the little yellow and brown center to kind of add right here next to our acorn. So that is our that's our flower cluster on this one. So you can kind of see our flower cluster here. There. And I do not have another package of these pins. Robbie, you've got the number for these pins, so I'm just going to kind of pull these from the original card, and what I've done is just kind of tuck these in, kind of in and behind our flowers. Just kind of stick those in like so, just like that. Okay, that's that card. We're going to add glitter, but I'll add glitter to all three cards at one time. And I'm going to add a few brads, but let's move on to our flower clusters on the others. Okay, this one here. Can you see this one here? It's got these flowers here, 581190. Just going to kind of dump these out as well. I've used two, so I've used this one and I've used this one. So what I've done here is just grabbed my glue really quickly, and I know we're really close to me going an hour and a half already, but I'm hurrying. Okay, thank you, Robbie, for staying with me. Just want to kind of push these two together, just kind of smooth them around till they kind of fit together. You can see there till they kind of fit together. Just about like that. And then I want to grab a few of these white flowers and just add them around, just for some color and some detail. Add them right about there, one right about there. And I want to add just white. I don't think I want to use the brown centers on this, so I'm going to grab one of just the all white roses and tuck it in right about there. Just kind of fit these in, just kind of push these together and fit them in. Can you kind of see how I just kind of tuck those in under there? You see how those are just kind of tucked? And then I want to use one more little button center. Let's use it kind of up at the top. Kind of like an uneven number. 5 better than 4. 3 is better than 6. Okay, about like that. So you can kind of see how simple that little deal is. It's very, very simple. Little. I want to kind of move this one down because I'm going to add some. I got some little blingy pieces to add. So let's move him down just a little bit so we got that center over there. We got that little opening right there. So you can kind of see just like that. Okay, that's our flowers for that one. Next, I want to add the flower and the resin for this one. So let's grab that card. And what I did was I believe I took this one right here, and I just pulled our center out. You may have to cut it, but I just actually clipped that right out of there and kind of raised it up, kind of pulled it up. Okay, then go back to your resin, and what I've done is just kind of first sort of just glued the resin down, kind of situated it until it fit. So I think I've got that raised up a little bit too much, so about like that, just so it kind of goes across the card. Little glue, and then our flower. A little more glue, our flower right there in the center. You can kind of pull this out a little bit, like so. Okay. Next thing I want to do is add our little blingy pieces. Move all this. Grab our butterfly collection brads. Okay, first thing I want to do is grab an orange one. Clip off his little legs. I'll have these all over the room. Clip off his little legs. Add a little glue. Drop it right there in the center of our flower. Then I want to grab kind of a brown one. Clip off our legs. Lay them flat. And I'm going to actually lift up or slide over our floss a little bit, and just kind of, just so it gives a little more dimension without moving your flower. Make sure you keep your flower in the middle there. Then I want to grab a small orange one. And I just clip the legs off. The Tim Holtz scissors does that really well. So just kind of clip those away, or clip those out of your way. Let's add an orange one right about there. And then what do I have up here? Another little kind of the little beigey iridescent one up there. Like so. And add that right about there. Okay, and you also have a little hummingbird here that I don't have 2 packs of, so your little hummingbird just kind of goes right down in that little area right there. Okay. Now we want to add our little brads to these other. First thing I'm going to do is grab the little birdie brad from right here. Remove his legs. And we're just going to make him a little flower center. Just poke him right down in that little area there. And then I'm going to just add a few of the blue. I'm getting a small blue one. I'm just going to clip these Brad's legs away first. Grab a larger blue one. And again, we're just clipping their little legs away. And grab a brown, or let's grab one of these other little Brads, a little floral piece. They just help add lots of color, so you can just keep adding wherever and however you want them. Thank you guys that are staying with me. I am working as fast as I can. Okay, we'll add this one right about there. It's just got a little floral accent on it. Move the blue. Let's glue the right side. We want to glue the back side, not the front. Add our blue right about there. Just be sure to move this blue around. Grab another larger blue. Grab another larger blue. Lay these little clips down. Add a blue right about here. Okay, sorry about that. Focus is like in and out. Sorry, because my hands are like right in the way. Add our small blue one. Kind of up at the top here. Right about there. Okay. Just going to kind of tuck that in behind the flowers just a little bit. Okay, so also on this one, we've got a few little bling pieces. This is like the longest class I think I've ever done on Live with Prima. I knew it was going to go over. Didn't know it was going to go this far over. But thank you for joining me and hanging in there. For those of you that have gone, good night. So thankful you came. For those of you that don't know, this is a live show, so we have guests with us at all times. So I'm just going to keep clipping these off. This is the last one I'm going to add. Then we're going to add a little glitter and we will be done. Just want to kind of lift up our little doily piece and kind of add that one right up under the little doily piece. Okay. So this is what we have. We have all 3 of our cards ready for a little glitter. So I'm going to use Prima's glitter here. Just Prima's fine glitter. You can use any glitter that you have. Would be totally okay. Just some gold glitter. I'm using some soft matte gel. I'm going to grab a paintbrush. Just going to grab a paintbrush and dip it in. And just in a few places around, I want to add some glitter. No rhyme or reason where, just be sure to add some glitter. Add some glitter all around. You can add it to your little leaves, your little metal pieces, but just all around kind of add some glitter. You can see we'll kind of give it a shake. So you can see, can you see? Just glitter it up. Now this one here, before I add the glitter, I need to add a little bit of orange. I'm just going to grab my, you can use your paintbrush, but I'm going to grab my water brush since it's wet. And I want to grab some orange. I want to grab some orange from the end of the pencil. And I just want to kind of touch the end of a few of my petals here on this flower. Squeeze out a little bit of water if you think you've gotten it too dark in one area or the other. And just color up just the tips. Just the tips of these flowers you want to be kind of orange. So just color up the tips. Just like so. And we're gonna pretend like that's dry, because I'm gonna move on with my glitter on my other card here. Just again, add some glitter just around in different areas. No rhyme, no reason where, just get some glitter. You just want it to sparkle with that gold glitter. And this card as well, you can add a little more color to. You can use your pencils and add a few more colors. But you see, it just sparkles it right up. Let's add a little more to that area right there. Just like so. You can see it. Glitter, glitter, glitter. Okay. Now, last but not least, we have our little leaves. Just go in and add. I'm kind of just adding it down the center, down the little spine area of these leaves. And then just in a few places on our flower. And we did add a little bit to the hummingbird. And that is it. Okay. There you have it. There you have it. There's that one. There's this one. And there is this one. We are done. It's about time. I know some of y'all are thinking that. So let me pan you back up. And thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to join Bona on Tuesday. And our adventure's going on this weekend in Canada, so I'm so jealous. I know they're having so much fun. But anyway, y'all have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me and letting me finish all 3 of these cards. I hope you'll try them, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks so much. Bye.